Hi, Adam.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. I was curious, being part of the bullpen, the way you guys are pitching as a group, can you evaluate how you guys have been able to complement each other?
Absolutely. I think one of the valuable things about our bullpen as a whole is everyone kind of brings a little something unique to the table. We we're constantly talking amongst ourselves throughout the day, leading up to the game about different things we're working on, how we want to attack hitters, um, and it's clear to everyone how short of a season this is going to be, and we all know that heading in. So it's been really, I think, impressive as a whole to see how guys have been able to put, whether it's new things or little tweaks into play right away. And I think the results are, you're starting to see them already, and I think you're going to see some more, even though it's only a 2 month season.
For you personally, do you feel like you've shed that label of lefty specialist?
Sure. I mean, it's for me personally, up until I became a Dodger last year, I wasn't really used, solely in that role. In Tampa, I would often go an inning plus 2 innings. I even went 3 innings one time in an extra innings game. So for me, it was more of I just need to get back into that rhythm of seeing a righty in the box and attacking that hitter, the way that I want to. And I'm constantly talking with Mark and CMAC, and we're looking at videos and we're preparing, and the conversations I have with Bard down in the bullpen. I mean, we all know, and I have all the confidence in the world in myself, and I think I just now have the opportunity to show everyone what I can do. Not just facing one batter. Even though I love that role, it's fun, it's exciting to come in, just about every night, or at least be available every night to face one hitter. But for me, as a pitcher, when I go in this past off season and every off season I've had as a professional, I never just go in practicing to face lefties. So I'm always practicing against righties, and I'm looking forward to continuing to show what I can do against righties as the season goes on.
One more for me, Adam. As far as the sport itself, is there any discussion amongst you guys that the league may have to pause the season to regroup, or can you not even allow your mind to go there with the task at hand every day?
Sure. I think, it's hard on the country as a whole, the last few months of the uncertainty. I mean, everyone wants to know, their schedule, and we enjoy planning out, you know, our daily routines, our weekly routines. And, you know, when we were all home trying to prepare for a date that we weren't sure of, I think it tested a lot of our strategies of how to best prepare. And now that we're right in the season, even though we're a week in, we're, about to venture into August, and, it's a pennant race, from day one. So I think the smartest thing any athlete in this situation can do is just to go about it like, um, 100% as far as, that night's goal. And best you can block out all the scenarios, because it'll just drive you crazy. And, you know, I mean, I can speak for myself that, you know, it's, it's an old adage, obviously, control what you can control, and this is obviously way out of our hands. So we're just going to prepare like we always do as major leaguers.
Thank you.
Next question is from Juan Rizzo. Go ahead, Juan.
Adam, along the same lines of what Dave was just asking you about shedding that lefty specialist title, with the three batter minimum for everybody now, how much do you think your focus was knowing how much you had to have good splits, and having that in the back of your mind, how much do you think that helped you focus?
Sure. I mean, the focus is always there, and for me, it was more just blocking out any outside voice that kind of put in my mind that I was only valuable as a lefty specialist. Like I said, when I prepare and come to the field every day, I'm not planning on just facing one hitter. I'm never looking into the dugout to see if Dave's going to come and get me or not. Even when they tell me I'm only going to have one hitter, because you can't take your foot off the gas and then put it back on when it comes to your outing. So I know what I have to do to not only have success on the field, but to stay in this strong bullpen that we have. so far on the season, I've been happy with how I've been executing pitches, and the couple hits I've given up, they've been soft contact, and as a pitcher, and as not a strikeout overpowering guy, I'm looking to get weak contact, and I believe that if I execute the game plan, then I'll continue to get weak contact, and just the results will be there.
Strong start, Adam. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next question is from Ken Gurnick. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, on the same topic, facing right-handers, it seemed like, in spite of your history and your success, at the end of summer camp, it looked like it was a real tryout for you to see if you could do it again. Did you find that kind of amusing or challenging, motivating? How would you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, I am, for the last every year of my career, I look at every day as a tryout in a sense. That's the beauty and the curse a little bit of being in the bullpen is you constantly have to prove yourself. It doesn't matter how long you've been around. It doesn't matter what you did last night. It doesn't matter what I did last year. And it doesn't matter what my splits have been over my entire career because, I learn from every outing. I learn from every at-bat. I make adjustments, as I go along. So yeah, down the stretch in summer camp, I was trying to make the team. It wasn't I'm never complacent when I come to the field. I know how fragile this game is. I know how things change every other day. Not even taking into consideration everything that's going on that we're dealing with the virus, but just normal baseball stuff. Things change. Players come and go, and I've been on the coming and going part of a lot of those conversations. So, nothing is different as far as my approach, as far as how hard I focus and how I know every day I come to the field, I'm looking to prove myself. And that's what I want to do, not just, to stick around, but I want to win. I want to be a part of this team. It's an incredible locker room. It's a short window that, I have as a player and I don't take anything for granted. And for me, last night is over and, I'm happy with some of the pitches I made and I'm looking to do it even better tonight.
Thanks.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
Adam, getting back to the big picture stuff of what's going on in Major League Baseball with, I think it's going to be 6 teams not even playing this weekend. How much of a topic of discussion has this been among the players? Have you guys been watching it and chopping it up together, discussing it?
Sure. I mean, it's, even to hear you say 6 teams aren't playing this weekend, I think, because you hear little bits of reports as you come and go in the locker room, is, when you go out to stretch and you come back in, things can change so fast. So even just to think about that for a second of 6 teams not playing, it's certainly, kind of, once again, opens your eyes and opens them even further. And, as far as our discussions, like I said a little bit previously is, you hear things, you digest it best you can. But, I just got done working out. There's 10 guys working out. There's guys, in the cages right now getting ready for tonight. And that's all we can do. You've seen the last couple of days, the bats are, we've had a lot of line drive outs. And I think, offensively, we're about to hit our stride. Pitching wise, we're off to a good start. We're going to keep it going. We're going to get people back from injuries and keep getting healthy, hopefully. So I think that's all we can really think about. It's unfortunate that we have, that everyone's dealing with this across the world. But, us as a team, we talk about it. We're obviously hoping for the best. But we're, as we come to the field every day, it's just full steam ahead, with tonight's task.
Last question from Jack Harris. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Adam. How has social distancing just changed the experience of sitting in a bullpen, during the game and around other guys?
It does. Yeah. I mean, it's, I think the whole experience is different, from the little things of how we, we're not able to even like eat together and, hang out, the same way that we're used to in the locker room. And, that's obviously part of the experience that, that when you're a big leaguer and you get to enjoy the stadiums and the travel and you enjoy getting to see new cities and explore a little bit, that's just put on hold right now. I mean, everyone's dealing with, this experience right now of, not having, you guys just in front of me and just conversing, and, we're all, interacting as normal humans as we like to do. So it's a weird experience for everyone. It definitely changes it. I think the best way to look at it is, we're obviously willing to make these sacrifices to still play the game, because when you're in the heat of the game, it does feel relatively normal. It's just, it's what happens outside the lines that is, I don't know if we'll ever get used to it, but for now it's what we got, so we're going to make the most of it.
And with the 3-batter rule, now that you've had a week of just seeing how that works in games, I mean, is it as big of a deal as you thought it would be? Less so? Are there times where like you can feel like, oh, this is where we're probably having to change our game plan a little, or has it maybe not been as important as at least all the attention it got during the off season?
Right. No, like I said, I've never thought it was going to be that big of a deal, because you can come in with 2 outs, get your lefty out, and all is good. It changes the strategy, obviously. The main negative, I think, for me personally, I was able to have a lot of appearances last year. So when you have your outing like I did last night, I guess I threw like around 15 pitches or so. When you have those 20 to 25 pitch outings, normally I could, tell my pitching coach, hey, I'm good for a batter today. And it was all good, and I'll be in that night. But, with the possibility of facing 3, it obviously changes the scenario of things. So the workload management is probably the biggest adjustment for pitchers. But as far as, the scenarios that come up within the game, the big, power hitting lefty that's up in the box with a runner on second, those are still happening. And so I think overall, it's not going to change the game that much. It's more on the preparation side and being available for the next night.
Thank you.
Dave, how would you describe the way your bullpen has pitched collectively?
Really well. I've seen, especially in summer camp, the bond that's been created with these guys. And I think that just, when you get out of the gates well, it's kind of the next guy, the next man up wants to put up another 0, and the next guy wants to put up another 0. And when you have guys down, they want to pick each other up. So that confidence, with some of the guys that are really unproven, are starting to grow. And the guys that have been there, done that, I think they're doing a great job of mentoring some of these young guys.
Is there any part of you, Dave, that feels like this time right now, with all the news of the COVID testing, feels like the rumblings of spring training when that almost came to a halt? How much are you paying attention to what's happening?
We're paying very close attention. This is something that, I think that the big spike with the Marlins situation is something that I don't think anyone hoped for or expected. It's not good for anyone. The St. Louis thing, I think, is something that, you prepare for things to happen. No one is immune to this virus. That's why we have 60 guys, potentially to pull from. We have taxi guys. But I do think that everyone needs to take responsibility for their actions. I really do. And, you're talking about being under the microscope with the CDC, the American population, and how we're doing things. And we have to be accountable. And whether it's guys on the bench, in the pen, away from the field, all this stuff matters. And, we've come so far to get to this point, and, for it to be shut down because of people being irresponsible certainly is unacceptable. So I just think basically my point being is that whatever we can do, whatever protocols are implemented, re-implemented, I know the Dodgers player staff, we're all in.
You get nervous that the season may end soon?
Well, you hear the commissioner and putting everyone on notice, and obviously the commissioner's office, the players union, everyone is motivated to keep going. The fans as well, but people's safety and health has to be the most important thing, and it just speaks to we have to do what we can do to minimize it as much as we can. So hopefully it doesn't get to that, though.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Got a question from Ken Kiernan. Go ahead, Ken.
Dave, have you decided on starters for date for Kershaw?
Yeah, Clayton's going to start on Sunday. And then
And
we're going
Bueller on Monday?
Okay, yeah.
I have a question from Dave Bassay. Go ahead, Dave.
Starting Kershaw on Sunday, Dave, is the biggest reason to be able to give the rest of your rotation extra days, especially with Thursday being a day off?
That's part of it. That's part of it. And also, you know, Clayton is chomping at the bit to get back and pitching a major league game. So it just makes sense in a lot of different, from every angle.
Thank you.
Yep.
Another question from Jack Harris. Go ahead, Jack.
Dave, how much have the players either been talking amongst themselves with you directly about, you know, the things happening around the league and the uncertainty that's popped back up about the feasibility of the season?
A lot. I just had a conversation with Justin a little bit, you know, before this call, and just kind of floating the idea that, you know, all of our guys should wear a mask, you know, in the dugout when they're not playing, and, you know, essentially having that kind of that mask part of that thing go around your neck as part of your equipment, you know, so it's an easy access to put on when you're not on the field of play. You know, trying to keep the numbers down in the dugout. So we're certainly talking about it, and, you know, we've worked hard to get to this point. So it just, again, we just have to do everything we can to minimize the spread.
I know you said that, you know, you didn't expect the season to go perfectly with all the protocols and stuff, but is it worrisome that these things have popped up so soon into the year?
Not necessarily. I think there's two separate, you know, the Marlins thing I think is a separate incident than the Cardinal situation. You know, it was, I'm just not surprised that it popped up. Hopefully we can kind of, again, minimize it, do everything we can, you know, to keep it at bay. But that's why we kind of put protocols in place and have a lot of players, you know, to be accessed.
What are you hoping to get out of Tony tonight, and what were the reports on how he looked in this last week at the training site?
Tony's been good. This is where he made his major league debut, so I know he's thrilled. And it's all about, you know, how he performs. So I really don't want to put a number on, you know, but I think that, you know, 3-4 innings is fair.
Who's running the pitching program at the training site?
Donnie Alexander is doing a great job over there. Rob Hill is another guy that's doing a great job. And he and Mark Pryor, Connor McGinnis, they're all kind of talking daily. And we get reports every day. So Clayton McCullough has been over there. I know Andrew has popped in over there to see guys. Brandon Gomes has popped over there, but he's with us now. So it's been really good communication.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Question from Pedro Mora. Go ahead, Pedro.
Hey, Dave. I understand it's extremely difficult to stop the decades-long habits you guys have developed, but would you like to see less high-fiving in the dugout as well, along with the increased mask wearing that you mentioned?
Yeah, I think it's something where, and I'm just as guilty in certain senses as anyone. I'm an emotional guy. I like to give dap to the players, but I've got to be better. We all got to be better, and I think that it's just got to be a more conscious effort by all of us to kind of minimize the touching. And granted, you know, when I high five or fist bump, guys are wearing batting gloves, but it's still, you know, you still got to be mindful of things like that. So it's something that, you know, old habits we've got to find a way to break, especially in this time.
Thanks.
Question from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
And Dave, the MLB has talked about adding a compliance officer for every team. Have you guys done this, and how do you see his duties fitting into this?
Ron Porterfield is our compliance officer, and I certainly don't believe we would be at this point without Ron's assistance and kind of mindfulness and direction. He's everywhere. He's got the respect of everyone, and making sure we take our temperature, fill in all the questionnaire every day. He's keeping the players, coaches, staff all abreast, and he's kind of in tune with all the protocols and regulations.
And just a clerical thing, when you move Josh Spores off the active roster, does he go to your taxi squad? Does he still travel with you?
He actually right now is not on the taxi. We option him, and he's at CBR, and he's going to work out there. And at that point in time, he'll go over to the satellite place at SC.
So you add somebody to the taxi squad for San Diego?
Correct.
Do you know who that is yet?
I don't know if we've done it yet, but I think right now Mitchell White is a candidate.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I have one final question from Dave Bassett. Go ahead.
Dave, I just wanted to get your opinion on some of the discussions with the NBA starting up last night. A lot of people were asking, why wouldn't baseball try to do a bubble to begin with? Do you feel like that was realistic? Do you feel having baseball in a bubble is as realistic as the NBA is doing?
I don't. I think that you're talking about, I don't know how many teams they're doing. I know they eliminated teams that were playoff contenders, and you're also talking about a 12, 13-man roster. So the numbers alone just don't speak to kind of containing 30 teams times, 45 players and staff, so that's a big number. So I think that Major League Baseball, along with the Players Association, is doing, the best they can, but every day you learn more. But I still just live in a world where you got to be accountable, and we all have to individually do our own part as well.
Thank you.